Well, welcome everybody to another episode of the GCA and GovGenie Win Government Contract podcast. With us here, we have Vicky and Kenneth. They are our entrepreneurs. And so we're going to be talking about their business. But if you're joining us live, we will be talking about their business as it applies to your business as well. And later on in this live streaming podcast here, we will also give you some time to chime in to ask your questions so that you can get some help as well. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about we're going to continue the theme of getting procurement ready. What does it mean to get procurement ready, to get your business so that you can represent $100 million company? You're not going to look like that at the beginning. So we're really going to take it the baby steps of what does it mean to be procurement ready from a branding perspective. So we're going to talk about your capability statement, your capability video, your capability website, your capability, your business card, all of these different branding, different things. We'll talk about your logos. We'll talk about how to build your website. Lots to cover today. And then we'll do a little bit of review from last week as well. If you are watching this here as a replay, thanks for watching this as a replay. We do have some good content, some really good goodies, some goodies I'm going to give away later on as well. So stay tuned until we get to that point there. We want you to get a lot of good value for joining us here on this podcast here. So with that said, thank you for joining us. I see Dana, Effie, and many of you are making some comments. Along the way, feel free to make comments. If you like the topic that we're talking about, hit that some of those some icons and clap your hand and do different things on here. If you have questions for us, feel free to ask questions in the chat area as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and have our entrepreneurs. Our goal in this podcast is to get them to the point where they are winning contracts. That's really the goal of why we're doing this podcast here, is to help you to the point where you're ready to win contracts and win some contracts, not just getting ready, but winning contracts. That's really the goal of this podcast here. So with that, Kenneth and Vicky, and you guys want to chime in? How is it? We finished the first episode last week. This is episode number 2. So give me a little bit of your feeling of what we covered, and how are you feeling? Are you a little nervous? Are you like, Abe, you're sharing too much of my information online, or what? Tell me, just kind of where you're at this point here.
I'll start first. I'm excited, but at the same time, the first thing I noticed is you have to kind of pace yourself. You got to, deal with time management, because I'm all over the place. I'm up late at night reading, Googling. Capability statement started, but I realized I need a little help. Branding, still working with the website, so forth and so on. But I think with your guidance, we're going to be good. But it does require a lot of work, especially if you're a one-man team or you haven't built your team yet. So anyone watching, please pay attention. You're going to need everything.
Absolutely. Yes. And entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart, right? If you're thinking you're going to clock in 40 hours a week, go get a job, right? And Ken, you are the perfect person to be an entrepreneur, because you understand that, hey, if I need to stay up late, I'm going to stay up late. If you do whatever it takes to be successful, and it's not like, oh man, I've put in 40 hours and it's time to go hang out and go get it, go get some fun time with the friends during March Madness. No, sometime March Madness will come around next year. This year, you're building your business. Just follow up on who won the score. You don't have to watch the game. Just check the score at the end of the game, right?
Absolutely, man. This is a window of opportunity, and they come and go in life. Depending on how old you are, you can go back and look at those windows that open and close. If it's here, the window's open, the idea's in your mind, go ahead and jump. Do whatever you have to do. Commit.
Absolutely. All right, Vicky, so what are your thoughts? How's it coming for you?
It's a little bit nerve-wracking. I have started on my capability statement. I'm looking at some of the government websites and seeing what I can do with mine. And I'm thinking about possibly just rebranding my website completely, because it's not uh, it's not for the government. It's actually more geared towards the private sector. And I've actually rebranded my logo. The business card is all done. When I did the spreadsheet from last week, yes, that opened my eyes to more, I guess, more bids that I would be looking at, which area I should go into. So.
Okay, great. And thanks for sharing. Give a little bit of a pulse of where you're at. And the whole purpose is to get you procurement ready. So I know some of you will not be perfect. Some of you have a lot of work ahead of you. And that's why we're here. So I'm going to start off. This is, sharing my screen here. So we track all of your work every single week. And not everything is put down in here, but you can see that last week we talked about getting procurement ready. I show you guys how to use USA Spending to pull the different NAICS codes that you're interested in and to do the Dream 100. If you did not join us last week, I showed them how to do a Dream 100. And then Vicky, I think you did your homework here. And then Kenneth, were you able to finish your Dream or get started on your Dream 100 last week?
Yeah, I was able to, and just like Vicky said, it went from computer and manufacturing, and then I realized that computer software and then other options popped up, which is a totally different NAICS code. But yeah, I was able to do it.
Okay, so any of you want to share your screen, and let's look at your Dream 100. Let's quickly take a look at that. I'm gonna stop sharing, and who wants to share your Dream 100? And let's talk that through a little bit.
I'll go ahead and share mine.
Okay.
In a second.
Now, I don't know if you can share your screen, but I think you can.
I could share mine.
Okay. All right, super.
Yeah, if you want to go for it, Vicky, go for it.
Yep.
Okay, let me. Okay.
And if you're joining us, live streaming, thanks for joining us. We are live streaming to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and a few other social community as well. Thanks for being part of the GCA and GovGenie community. We're here to educate, inform, help you, guide you through the government contracting journey. So again, welcome. And so Vicky, are you able to share?
Oh, there she is.
Okay, I see her Dream 100 coming up.
I don't know if it's my internet.
Right now, I see the StreamYard page. Vicky, I think for some reason you're very sluggish when you're sharing your screen. So I have your document. I'm going to share your document for everybody since I don't see yours coming up here. So So let me share my screen since I do have your document. All right.
I don't know what happened.
All right, can you guys see my screen? All right, so let's see what you did here. So you went through and you, so talk to me what you found, Vicky.
So I was able to go from management consulting services and human resource consulting services to three other items or three other NICS code. And the contracts for the other NICS codes are much less, but the average value is still, I don't know. What are your thoughts as far as when you look at the average value? Do you look at the average value or do you look at the contracts?
Average value is just to give you a little bit of understanding of the nature of the scale of the project itself. What I'm more interested in is the number of contracts, because if there's more contracts, there's more opportunities for you. So that's really what I'm more interested in. And so the average is okay. That's a good number just to have a rough idea about. But so if I'm determining which is going to be my primary NAICS code, I'm not going to go with HR consulting, right? There's only 1,300 projects that was awarded. I'm going to go with 541601 management consulting services, because there's 20,000 projects and there's $14 billion that was awarded last year. So that's really how I want you guys to use this series to determine what industry. Now, the beautiful thing is you don't have to just choose one NAICS code. You can choose multiple NAICS code. So I'm glad that you were able to do this homework assignment here. And Kenneth, in terms of your research, what did you discover?
Essentially the same thing. So started out with computers. Here, let me pull up the page. Give me 1 second. So we started out with computers, looking at manufacturing, then wholesale, starting with 423.430, going through to 541.511. And kind of what I found is on just basic computers, there weren't a lot of contracts. I mean, if you're manufacturing, yeah, but under custom computer programming services, like 53,000 contracts. It's like $25 billion. You know what I mean? So start kind of carving out where I should be leaning as opposed to just, blanket computer sales.
That's actually a good lesson there in terms of what you learn. The government, so part of this is we have to follow the flow of money. And let me give you an illustration. I'll come back to your specific situation here, Kenneth. If we're following the flow of money, if I sell pool cleaning supply and I sell chemicals to keep the pools clean, the government's not going to come buy pool supplies from me. The reason is the government is buying pool supply from the pool cleaner, the company that maintains, like, for example, a county, like a county might have 10 swimming pools in the county, and they need a pool cleaning company to come and take care of those pools. The county does not want to buy the service and then go buy the pool cleaning chemicals separately, because that means they have to manage two contracts. So what the county is going to do is, hey, to maintain our 10 pools, 10 swimming pools for the community, we're going to award one contract to one company, and it's the responsibility of that company to buy the pool clean equipment to make sure that the pool maintains its health standards and so forth. So in your industry, Kenneth, you're selling computer parts, routers, different things like that. Well, the government might say we're gonna the FBI, for example, say, hey, we've got a new FBI building, and we're going to we're going to implement a technology into this building here. So with that, they might hire a system integrator company, and that system integration company will come in. They will bring in the laptops. They will bring in the security, cybersecurity measure. They'll bring in the staffing people to maintain the technology operation. They might need to have a software developer on staff the whole time for that building. They might need to have a IT help desk that's part of that contract. So that might be a $10 million a year contract with parts and components and computers and routers and switches and wiring and Wi-Fi system, all of that included. So if you are only selling hardware and software, a lot of that is bundled into the service side. So you're correct in your assessment of what you research is that going after the 541, 511, 512, 513, 519 is better for IT, even though you're more of a products company, and then sell products as those opportunity comes along, but position yourself to be more of an IT company, although you specialize in products. So that's really how you would build your business and your messaging. As we start to talk about your website, your capability video, you want to position yourself as the broader umbrella company versus the niche player. And that's really what you've done here, Vicky. You're saying, okay, I need to lead with this $14 billion NAICS code. All these other things are my secondary NAICS code. Any other comments on your homework assignment from last week? All right, good stuff. Good lesson here learned from last week. Let's continue.
I do have one question.
Sure.
Let's say you register in Sam's and I registered under, let's just say, selling products. But in this research, I come back and I realize, hey, I need to broaden my horizons. Is it frowned upon to go back in and update your NAICS codes or change it or anything of that nature?
Yes. And let me give you a real example. So this is a company which we're talking through and preparing her to get into the government market. And I'm going to use this as a real example so that so her industry, she listed in the Secretary of State as other accounting services, but she wants to be an administrative management company, kind of like the same NAICS code as yours, Vicky. But her NAICS code in the Secretary of State is this here. This becomes problematic because her Secretary of State says her NAICS code is different. So if I take this here and I go back to USA spending, that NAICS code is not the main NAICS code that she's interested in, right? So I'm gonna come in here and that is this NAICS code here, 541219. That there's not a lot of money in this NAICS code. In fact, let me just do a quick search. So in 2023, there is there is money, 795 million, but compared to $14 billion, right? So do you make your primary NAICS code a $14 billion primary NAICS code, or do you do it for 795 million in terms of total award for the year? And so go for the bigger dollar amount. And then the other thing that you want to consider, Vicky, in terms of your primary NAICS code, and you also, for all the ladies who's watching here, what you want to look for is this here. You want to come in here and NAICS for EDWSP. Part of it depends on your certification approach. If you decide that I'm going to go after WOSB, then it doesn't matter. If you're going to go for EDWSB, then you want to make sure that your NAICS code falls under the EDWSB. So Vicky, what we want to do is we want to come into the NAICS code here, and we want to look at 501611. So this is a NAICS code for what you looked at. It falls under EDWSB, which is the stronger of the certification. There's WSB and there's EDWSB. EDWSB is the stronger certification. And if your primary NAICS code doesn't show EDWSB, then it's the weaker of the NAICS code that you want to choose. So there's a few factors in terms of choosing your primary NAICS code. How much contract awards was made in 1 year, and does it fit your certification that you're trying to approach? Now, for veterans and for other companies, the NAICS code is less critical for you as it relates because the certifications, for 8A, for HubZone, for SDVSB is not necessarily contingent upon your NAICS code. Only the EDWSB and WSB is contingent upon your primary NAICS code. So you're choosing the better NAICS code here, Vicky, because it falls under this here. All right, any questions from our audience? Put in the chat. Before we shift gears a little bit, we're going to go to content for this week here. So if you're watching this live with us, anybody have questions or comments in the chat? All right, somebody says peace to all of us. Absolutely, thank you. It's a holiday week, so definitely could use all the peace. Although taking my wife, we are going to make a quick getaway trip to Arizona, to the desert, just to get some R&R and away from everything. And one of our goals is to see all 50 states. And we've done a decent job at it. But then after about 5 years, we've been married going on 23 years now. After 5 years, we discovered cruising. And so we've been doing a lot of cruising instead of seeing all 50 states. So this is our attempt to keep making that checklist of seeing all 50 states. Okay, so no questions coming in. All right. Someone says, we are not WSB or ED. Should I not be on the call? No, we're talking about all things government contracting, and we just happen to be addressing WSB and EDWSB at this moment here. So this is for all businesses. Whether you can qualify for certifications or don't qualify for certifications, we're going to be teaching you technique strategies on how to win government contracts. So with that, any comments from you, Vicky and Kenneth, about your primary NAICS codes?
No, but I do see a question in the comments. They're asking, in SAM, can we switch primary NAICS codes?
Yes. If you go to your SAM registration, you can switch it. The way you determine your primary NAICS code is done by two ways. If you are pre-revenue or you don't have a lot of revenue yet, then you can choose whichever NAICS code you want. If you are already winning contracts, or you already have a good revenue, then you want the primary NAICS code has to be the one that you are winning the most. You have the most revenue under that NAICS code. And so what does that mean to you? For some of you who are women-owned businesses, if you're winning contracts for a NAICS code, that you might want to if it's commercial contract, you can recategorize it, change your description of your project title and project description to fit more of the NAICS code that you want. Because the SBA, if you're applying for certification, the SBA is going to ask, what is your primary? They're going to review your revenue, and they're going to say, oh, this revenue is this NAICS code. And if you don't want that NAICS code, you want to present it in the way that it will fit the NAICS code that you want. And if you need more technical details of how to do that, reach out to me, and I can help you structure that a little bit more. Okay, so let's continue. Yes, you want your SAM registration to align with the right NAICS code. You want your Secretary of State to align with the right NAICS code. You want your IRS for tax purposes to have the same NAICS code. If it doesn't match up, you'll have issues with your certifications. You'll have issues with your SAM registration. If you're new and you don't have your CAGE code yet, you have issues with all of that there. So make sure that your story is consistent. Secretary of State, SAM, IRS, Those are the three main core bodies that you want to make sure that it's the same NAICS code. So shifting gears, we are going to address today how to get your brand looking like it can handle $1 million government contracts. A quick question. We'll come back and address some of the questions. Let's go into, before we can even talk about past performance, your brand has to look like it can handle $1 million contract, right? And so what does that mean? It has to do with your logo, your capability statement, your capability brief, your capability video, your capability website. And for those of you that are watching us live, we use this software here. It's called the Gov Fast Track. And in here, we talk about these items here. So under image here, your capability statement looks like this here. And I'm going to pull up the template so that if you are joining us live and you don't have a capability statement, send us an email to info at GovContractors. I'm going to put it in here. Info at GovContractors, and put the subject line capability statement, and we'll be more than happy to give you a capability statement sample. All right, so I pulled up the template here, and usually you want to build it. It doesn't matter where you build your capability statement. You can use Word doc. I use PowerPoint. Some of you use Canva. In fact, I'm getting more comfortable on Canva, so I'm probably going to create a template on Canva and then make that available to you guys to use. But this current version here is on PowerPoint, and because I like PowerPoint, is easier to use than most Photoshop and some other more elaborate software. But this is a one-page capability statement. Your first document in terms of getting your brand ready for the government market is your capability statement. The first thing you want to do is where it says your logo, delete that, put your logo up here, right? If you're not, this is a laboratory company. So so take this here, delete that, put an image related to your industry. I typically like to have an image up here because that image speaks louder than anything else. Let me kind of share with you a capability statement that I recently helped revamp. And so what we did was we went through and revamp her capability statement. So she does veteran staffing, JA&E. She does veteran staffing. And so I actually used ChatGPT to create this image here. And I said, create an image of a military personnel, African-American woman, military personnel transitioning to a professional career. And it made this image for me. And so I said, hey, you know what? I asked her, is this an image you like to use? She said, yeah, absolutely. This is a great illustration of what her business is about. And it's better to have a real person, but in the absence of a real person, a caricature driven, created by AI is fine. And so we put this image here as the banner on top. And so you always want to have a banner that is an image versus just a whole bunch of, a dark background or no picture at all. So Kenneth, how's your capability statement coming along? I know you kind of started on it, but give me an update where your capability statement is at.
Kind of in the framework section. So in my case, since I haven't sold anything to the government, this is fairly new business. I don't have any commercial or private industry sales. I'm kind of heavily leaning on my past experience. I'm in the process of getting certification, veteran-owned, MBE, DBE, all of which take a little bit of time. So that was a question for me. Like, if we're in the process of creating this, but we've applied for the certs, I see on this one it says 8A pending. Can we list those and put pending, or is that something that you wouldn't encourage?
Absolutely. If you started the process, if you looked at a checklist, it's pending. Now, if you haven't done anything, don't put pending, right? But if you started the process, it doesn't matter if you just review the checklist, or it doesn't matter if you have already submitted to the SBA portal or with WeBank, or it doesn't matter which governing body that you're doing your certification with, you can put pending here. And that tells whoever it is that it's coming, you're in the process. It could take 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, it doesn't matter, but you can put pending. So that's how I would do it. I would put pending in here as a great way to start, even though you're newer and you don't have the certifications yet.
Okay, thank you.
Same thing with your past performance, right? You don't have a lot of past performance. So in the past performance section, what you want to do is you want to use your personal experiences, what type of work you've done, that you've had personal experiences, or your teaming partner's past performance. If you have a teaming agreement with them, you can list out your teaming partner's past performances here.
Okay, so the fact that I'm a veteran, I was in the military, I can use the Army's logo in the past performance?
No one owns these logos here, because it's yes, the government created these logos, but we as a citizen actually can use these logos for branding, marketing purposes here. But yes, if you work in the military, or if you've been in the military, or if you work for a company, you can put their icons down here for marketing purposes. Now, these past performances, you're not going to use this when you submit a proposal. When you submit a proposal, they're actually going to call the person, ask for a reference. We're not talking about that. This is only for marketing purposes here. Gotcha. When they, the government understands that just because you did work for Equifax in this situation, this may not be the reference that you use when you're submitting a proposal. So,
okay.
And then you see how many NAICS code they have here?
Yeah, I saw that. That's a lot.
And again, I said, don't do computer services and funeral services, right? Because they're too far apart. But if you can tell a story of what you're doing and how you're doing it, then there's a lot more NAICS code. In fact, going back to what we talked about earlier at the beginning, Vicky, you shared about 4 NAICS code or 5 NAICS code. There's a lot more NAICS code that you can actually add. And so you have HR.
Okay, yeah,
there's also, yes, there's a lot more other NAICS code that you can actually do. So there's training NAICS code. There's other additional administrative service NAICS code. There's staffing NAICS code. You got the help desk, but there's other staffing NAICS code. There's a lot more NAICS code out there that you guys can do. So keep searching, go to USA Spending and keep putting on keywords, and you're going to see a lot more NAICS code that you can add. As you can see in this example of all these NAICS code, all this stuff here. And then also, I think the sample here, right? Like some of your NAICS code will fall under like this one here. Employment, staffing, temporary help, administrative management, human resource marketing, consulting, administrative services, temporary staffing, other business support. Now, you may not do landscaping. She does that, but assuming she has a teaming partner that does janitorial and landscaping, professional training, management training. So these NAICS code can be yours also. Educative support services. You can see, right, Vicky, there's a lot more that you can add.
Yeah,
so part of what
that. Now I have a question for you.
Sure.
Because we also have a DBA as courier delivery service. Would you recommend putting that on there as well?
If it's very different from what you currently do, then I would have two capability statements with separate NAICS codes. So one of your capability statement will speak to your company that does training, management, consulting, that side of it, HR side. The second capability statement will speak to logistics, supply chain, courier services, mail services, that whole side of that. So for unique services, don't throw all in one, create 2 separate capability statements.
As it pertains to a DBA, can we just use the DBA on the capability statement, or do we have to acknowledge the primary company?
The way I would do it is where it says about the company here. Let me come back here. So where it talks about the company here, I would put in here that ABC, a subsidiary, or you can use the term DBA of whatever. So the branding, the logo will all be the DBA, the company that you're using for the branding for specifically for that type of industry you want to go after. But in the description down here, you want to say ABC is a DBA of whichever company it is. And the reason is when they go look at the UEI number in SAM, they want to, sometimes they don't look at the DBA portion. They might just look at the name. They say, oh, it's not the same company. There's brand confusion. But if you state it here, then you can actually clarify it through here. Or sometimes you put like if you have an image, let's assuming that this is the logo and this is the name of the DBA company. You might put in small letter a DBA of the other company name. So there's a few ways of how you package that. So capability statement, I want you guys to, part of your homework is I want you to continue to work on your capability statement. So at some point I can review it and give you guys the help that you need to get your capability statement ready. Let's shift gears a little bit. We got other things to cover. So let me go to back here. So we talk about your capability brief. We're gonna, the resources up here. If for some of you who's watching us and you want to access a capability statement, send us an email, info@govcontractors.org, subject line sample capability statement. We'll get that out to you. There's other resources in here. You can see we have capability brief. We have a 2-page capability statement. Both Kenneth, you, and Vicky, you already have bought the software, so you have access to that there. And so start working on your capability statement as the first step. And then at some point, we're going to come back and work on your capability brief, your capability video. The government use videos, more often nowadays. And mainly because we access the internet from our cell phone more often now. We hit the pivot mark of over 50% of people access the internet using the cell phone back in 2012, somewhere around there, where people, 2012, 2013, where people make the shift from laptop or desktop to access the internet from a cell phone. There's so small real estate on a cell phone that, yes, you can send a capability statement to a contracting officer, but it's hard for them to see everything if they're accessing it through a cell phone. So it's, or to your teaming partner or to a large company. So you always want to create a video at some point. And I actually have a script. Let's see in here. Did I use this link? Where's my capability? Oh, right here. So I created a capability script here. And if you are a live guest, you want a copy of the script, I will put it in the chat right now. Since I have it up. So this is part of joining us, right? When you join us, you have access to all these free resources. But so you come in here, you say, hey, write out, right? So this is, this is quick, very short music, maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds. There's a voiceover that comes on. Every agency needs a business partner who understands their missions and needs. This is the heart of why I founded whatever company. Now, again, change yours. Don't use this exact script, but this gives you the concept of what the script needs to be. And then you come in here, you talk about introduction. My name is this. Now, if you are a small business and you're trying to work with a large company and you want to present yourself as a small business to a contracting officer, this is more of a personalized version here. If you want to come across, like if you're going after a $20 million project and position your business from that optics, then you don't want to say my name is, right? You want to say, you want to speak from a corporate perspective versus a personal perspective. And so adjust as you need to. And then you list out your NAICS code, list out your UEI number. Now, the way you list out your NAICS code is during your video, it will just show your video. In fact, let me give you guys a real example of a capability video. I just helped this young lady here revamp her capability video. Let me come in here and where is it? Let me put this here. Okay, so this is an example. But I'm not going to play it because of time, but I'm going to come in here. And she wrote the script. I reviewed the script. And then she used a super expensive person from Fiverr that cost her like maybe $20 or something. So really affordable, right? Fiverr is your secret sauce. And so I told her, I said, include a live clip of her speaking. And so, but then the rest of it is this here. So I'm gonna put this video. If you want a real sample of a video, I'm gonna put this here into the chat also, so you can actually see what. And then if you go along here, right, you're gonna see in here. So she has a NAICS code. In the audio, she doesn't read out every single NAICS code because that's too tedious. She reads her main primary NAICS code and she says, these are our other NAICS codes. And then the NAICS code just populates through. And then she goes out. And then at the very end, there is a call to action, right? With your contact information, your website, your email, and so forth. So yes, Kenneth, sometimes it's good to put your email to the world, but not your personal email like I did to you.
So. Right there. It's okay. We're still learning, man.
All right. So yes, I'm giving you guys the resources. Keep working on this here. If you are a guest and you want us to, during our live podcast, you want us to review your capability video, capability statement, as we progress and we start to do some of the review, feel free to and come join us and share with us, and we'll review it. I'll give you good feedback on that there. Let's continue. So we talked about your capability video. Your website needs to look in a certain way. I'm not going to address website because that is a deeper conversation. We'll save that for another upcoming episode. And then let's come back to some of our topic for the day here. I want you in creating your capability statement. I actually have this course here for you guys. I want you guys, Vicky, you and Ken, to take this course here. For all of you who are joining us, I am going to put it into the chat. And this course, we actually sell it for $199, but you actually get it for free for being part of our community here. So if you come in here, it takes you, in fact, let me not take you through I'm going to take you through because as an instructor, it takes me to the admin module. So I'm going to show it to you guys from the user view. So you come in here, it's 100% off. A regular price is $199. Usually they sell it for anywhere from $79 to $20 or whatever the Udemy will sell it for. We have over 200 and 620 students on this here. When you do this here as a gift to all of you who's part of this episode here, please rate it 5. All right. So even if you don't like it that much, rate it 5 because you're getting it for free. So rate it 5 because you get it for free. But in here, I mean, it's good content. I mean, I spend time. It's about, I think about an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes long. So it goes into what is a capability statement, why you need it, how to create one, what are the different components of a capability statement. So you'll come in here and use this here to kind of help you create your capability statement. And then at the very end, we talk about how to use your capability statement. For those of you that already have a capability statement, this talks about how to use your capability statement. And so use, do the course here and get the help that you need with this here. All right. It is time for a little bit of Q&A from our 2 guest entrepreneurs. Any questions or comments? And then if you are a live guest streaming live with us, it's also your time to ask questions as well. So I'm going to take questions from our 2 entrepreneurs that's part of the podcast here, and then we'll open it to everybody else. Questions you guys have about what we covered, homework, or anything else you guys need support with?
Yeah. So with the capability statement, how long should it take you? How long do you think the average time to create a capability statement?
It depends if you're creating or if I'm creating. I can create a capability statement in about 30 to 45 minutes. I know how to research NAICS. I know how to create images, all these things here, because I've been doing it for 15 years. But if you're creating for the first time, to get a good one, it's going to take you about a week to get a very good capability statement.
Gotcha. The second thing is you mentioned you use ChatGPT to create the image. How long did that take, or what's the process? If you've never used it?
Well, let me show you live. Let me go ahead and do a live ChatGPT example here. So tell me, what is it that you want to? What kind of image you want for your capability statement?
Something centering around tech, products, and support.
Okay. All right. Let me log in first because you have to use. If you're using ChatGPT, the paid version gives you the images, or you can use some other free software online, some other AI software online. But I have the paid version; it's like $20 a month.
Okay.
And the free version, I don't think it will give you the image tool, but there's a lot of other free AI tools out there. So,
Gotcha.
but let me log in first. Give me 1 second. So when you come in here, the first thing you want to do is you want to shift from 3.5. 3.5 is the free version. You want to go to the 4.0. If you use, I think Bing and the Copilot is free right now for everybody, so you can use that to create images as well. I just haven't used that one. I've been using ChatGPT for a long time, so a little bit more comfortable here. But when you come in here, this is what they call the GPT. You want to click on Explore if you're first time in here, and it allows you to do different things down here, right? Question Maker, Library of Babel, Murder Mystery, Makeup Made, But what I usually use is if you come down here, you want to use the DALL-E and the image creator here, or you can do logo creator and different things here. But typically use a logo, the image creator, and then click on chat. And then, so in this situation for you, Kenneth, I would say create an image in landscape view of 3 professional people working in information technology. Make one of the person a military person. All right, so you can prompt it however you want. The more detail you give it, the more you're going to get out of it. And it takes about less than a minute to create the image. So we're doing it live here, right? So you're going to see it live as the image is created. Now you may have to keep asking it to recreate a few times to get the right image that you want. You may have to say, okay, I like this image, but do this to it. It will never give you the same image twice. That's the one thing that I don't like about ChatGPT, at this point here.
Right there.
All right.
I found my next subscription.
Now, all these images are, supposed to be royalty free and original art. So, now I haven't read through all of the usage on the ChatGPT license usage. My assumption is that, but don't take my assumption as your assumption. So if you're going to use it, typically if you use it for your general use, I think it's okay. If you're going to put this image and sell it as a product, then I think there may be some issues with that. So.
Gotcha. Now, I have a friend that used ChatGPT to create their logo. It's a nice logo, but I'd never gone down that path. I kind of played around with it, but I just learned something today, man.
Yeah. At some point in the future, I'm gonna teach a class on how to use ChatGPT to write your proposals, how to use ChatGPT to do many other different things. I did a class last year, but it's time to do another AI class. So, but we'll save that for another time. All right, so we have a little bit of time left. Vicky, any questions you have?
Yes, I do. So if you're,
I'm gonna download this image for you, Kenneth, if you want to use it for different purposes. But go ahead, Vicky.
So if you do have your capability statement ready, but your website and your videos, all that is not ready, would you recommend bidding for a project or hold off?
The only way to win a contract is submit a proposal. So I would never tell you to hold off. But at the same time, if you're not procurement ready and you're going after projects, and it can potentially hurt your reputation, hurt your brand. So I would focus less on bidding on project this early on. But if you're going after micro purchases, if you're going after a low dollar threshold, your branding is less important. So I would say, as long as you have your capability statement, you should be fine.
To piggyback off of that, what about on the SLED level, the state local level? Like if you're selling project, goods, or let's say in Vicky's case, there's a temp, solicitation where it's, 1 day event, and you feel you can meet the requirements, would you encourage us to go for
it? Yes. The answer is always yes. You can never go wrong by bidding on a project. So, but continue. Here's the main principle I want to share with you.
Okay.
You say, "Hey, Abe, I need shelter. I need food. I'm hungry." I'm never gonna say, "Hey, don't find shelter. Don't look for food," right? Because you gotta do that. But at the same time, you want to live in a big mansion. And so I'm telling you, hey, if you need to use an umbrella for shelter for just because it's raining, yeah, use an umbrella. If you want to go find a bridge and hide under the bridge while a storm is coming, do that. So do whatever you need to do to stay safe and to keep moving forward. But if you want to live in a mansion, we got to cut the trees, we got to dig the dirt, we got to pour the foundation so that you can build a big mansion for yourself. And that's really what being procurement ready is about. Is building that mansion that you want. If you want to build a $10 million company, you're not going to build a $10 million company without a compelling website. You're not going to build a $10 million company without a compelling capability statement, compelling or video or whatever. So the foundation that you have to do, you do those things there. The everything else, you do what you have to because you got to stay alive. All right,
Gotcha.
so let's open up for our general audience. Let's see what questions we have here. Thanks to everybody for joining us. And Anna, thanks for comment about your best friend that is ChatGPT. All right, so let me see if, what questions we have here. So I'm gonna move up this here, and so I can kind of see the questions here. What are the ABCs of starting out in the government space in addition to crafting your capability statement? So Kenny Ojo asked a question about what are the foundations that you need to have in the government market, and that's really what this episode or these episodes that we're doing live stream about. The ABCs of it is you need some help. So we have a tool called GovFastTrack.com, which is what I've been sharing with you guys. This is a great tool, and it takes you through the ABCs, right? Takes you through the ABCs from what you have to do from the very beginning to the very end. And let me show you the inside of it. This is really what we've been looking at. So this software is your blueprint to building your mansion. It goes from the very beginning of getting started, what business infrastructure you need to have, what logos you need to have, how to get your EIN number, from the most basic to your HR documents, you're getting your employee handbook. We put a template in here, and getting your e-verification. So all these are the things you need as a business to get ready for government contracts. This is the best tool. It's the only tool like that in the market. Now, if you also want to go to, for some of you, you want to go to the Apex Accelerator. We train you, but we're teaching you how to speak Governese. But learning how to speak Governese, you go to many different places, right? You don't learn the language by speaking to only one person. So I'm going to teach you how to speak Governese, but you speak Governese by talking to many people. So you come into the Apex Accelerator. It used to be called the PTAC, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. This resource is here for you because it's taxpayer money. You are paying for this here. So you want to come into Apex Accelerator. I'll put this in the chat. So if you're joining us, you'll see it in the chat. So you come in here, you go to where it says About Us, go to Service Area Locator. You want to look for a local chapter. And then if you are in, where are you, Kenny? What area of the country are you in? Put in the chat. But I'll just randomly choose one. If you're in Ohio, and then select the county, and then there's a whole bunch of county. I'm just going to randomly choose one. I'm hit submit. Then it tells me, where do I go to find an Apex Accelerator? So this is in the Akron area. And most of the time they will support you from a online perspective, but a lot of them have in-person classes. They have online classes. In addition to learning from us, I want you to learn from the SBA, learn from the accelerator, learn from all these different places. That's how you're going to be successful in the government market. And if this is you, then you click on this link. It takes you to the Apex Accelerator in your backyard. You'll go in and sign up to be what they call, for them to assign you a counselor. Some counselors are really bad. Some counselors are really good. Depends on who you get. But and then they have classes. They have different things, and use these here to help you, because that's why they're here for, right? We're here as additional value, but there's a lot of other free resources out there, and take advantage of all these free resources. So that's a long answer to your question. We have time for one more question. So any other question? So you're in Dallas, Texas. So let's check Dallas, Texas quickly here for. All right, so let's go to Texas. If you have other questions, put into the chat area, and I will answer your questions. And you're in which county? I'd say you say you're in the Collin County or Denton County. Okay. So let's go to Collin County, Texas, and let's see what we have here. So you are part of the Northwest Texas Apex. So this is your apex that you want to use. And then these are the people that you want to find the one that's closest to you, and go and engage them. They're there. We pay for it. It's taxpayers' money. The other resource is actually the SBDC as well. SBDC, SBA, the PTAC, along with the SCORE. All these are taxpayer resources there to support you and help you. All right, so Kenny says, can you speak about your experience in this space here? Some of you may know who I am, some of you don't. I was born with a government contract in my hand. Like some of you were born with an iPhone in your hand. Actually not, but my background is I'm an entrepreneur like many of you. I've started multiple companies. My first business was a baseball card comic book shop. Eventually, I went overseas to do missionary work, came back to the US, went to work in corporate America. I lasted 5 months in corporate America. And I said, corporate America is not for me. So I started another business. I had $300 to my name. Being a missionary, they don't pay you. So coming back, corporate America didn't work out for me, wasn't for me. Some of you thrive in corporate America, and that's awesome, right? If you thrive there, great, do that until you're ready to be an entrepreneur. I realized from a young age that entrepreneurship was probably more of my path. So I went and started a business with $300. You can, and people say, well, you can't start a business without money, right? People ask me, hey, how are you going to start a business with $300? I started office furniture business, and the chair that I sit on is an Aaron chair. Not because I'm bragging about the Aaron chair, but I'm using it as an illustration. The Aaron chair, most you see it in Google and all these big companies. They buy Aaron chairs for their employees because they're about $1,500 brand new. I bought it used, so I didn't. I understand the used market, so I didn't buy it brand new. So it cost me about $300 brand new or used. But it's one of the best office chair you can have. It's a mesh chair. It's very comfortable. I sit in my desk all day long. So people say, hey, you can't even afford a chair. How are you going to start a office furniture business with $300? And this is a very important principle here. Business is not about money. Money is a byproduct of business. Business is about people. It's about relationship. It's about finding people who have a problem and finding people with a solution, right? Kenneth, that's really what you're doing. You're saying, I don't have to go manufacture computers. Dell and Lenovo and all these other companies, they're already making great computers. You don't need to go ramp up $20 million of equipment and manufacturing to sell hardware. You just need to find the people with the problem, the agencies or county or city that needs computers, and you match them up. You set up a vendor relationship with Dell, with Lenovo, with all these other companies, and you sell it to them. So that's really how I got started in my office furniture business. By brokering furniture, I found people that needed furniture, and I matched them up with furniture, and I made money in between. Did that for many years. I eventually sold that business. I got into real estate, started building communities. Then the real estate market died in 2007, 2008. It was a very humbling time, very challenging time, lots of tears. I did my best not to shed tears. My wife shed a lot of tears for both of us. She is like my hero because she stuck with me when we had zero income, zero revenue. We had to file business bankruptcy, personal bankruptcy. During that time, millions of assets disappeared in about 6 months. We were building communities. We had real estate projects we're building on. We had buyers for our properties, but the banks weren't lending anymore. So it was one of the most challenging time, but it's also one of the most character building time of my life. But it was at that time that I met a lieutenant colonel who retired from the Army. And he said, hey, I'm looking to go into the government market and start a consulting company, but I've never started a business. And so since you have business experience, he said, why don't we be partners and do this together? So that's kind of how I got to the government market. 2008, we started a consulting company. I fell in love with the industry, became really good at it. And in 2010, I realized that doing consulting work and doing government contract work itself was not what I was created to do. I decided to leave consulting and start the Government Contractors Association to teach, train, and equip the small businesses so that they can win contract. While I was doing consulting, a lot of people kept us saying, how do I win contract? How do I win contract? And I tell them, go to the Apex Accelerator. Well, at that time was the PTAX. Apex Accelerator is a new name that they just used about 2 years ago. I said, go to the PTAC, go to the SBDC, go to the SBA. People say, I've been there. I'm still confused. I still don't know what to do. And so I decided to leave and make it a personal mission to help change the world by giving you access to money. And when you have access to money, then that's where social change can happen. And so that's really why I do what I do here, is to create social change, to make an impact in the world. Some of the greatest leaders of our time are not the wealthiest people. I can go out there and build a multi-million-dollar company. Yes, I have a family to provide for, but I chose this path because this is my calling in life. And Mother Teresa, Gandhi, many, many other leaders in our lifetime, the heroes of different generations, they weren't the wealthiest, but they were our heroes. And I'm not trying to be your hero. I'm just here because I want to do good. I want to make an impact in your business. And that's really why GCA is here. That's why GovGenie is here. So Kenny, you asked a question that deserves a longer answer. So, so there you go. There you have it. So with that, we are out of time. And if you have other questions, we do this here every single week, every Wednesday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Come join us. We have two entrepreneurs, Kenny and Vicky. We're going to take them through their government contracting journey. You'll see where they are now. And as you come back, you're going to see where they get to and how far they get to. And when we're going to get to a point where they're ready to start bidding on projects, I'm going to teach them how to write proposals. I'm going to teach them how to find opportunities and how to create their pricing. All that's coming up. And so we got a lot of things ahead of us. If you're joining us live, thanks for joining us. If you're watching this replay, keep watching the replay and join us live when you do have time. And don't forget to like, subscribe, click on the notification bell so that you'll get alerted every single time we do a live session. With that, I'll give a few quick comments, closing comments from Vicky and Kenneth, and then I will see if they have anything to add, and then we'll wrap it up.
The only thing I will say is this. I did my research before joining GCA, but what mattered the most to me, what made the difference beyond Abe and everyone on the staff, was the government. That fast track software, man, it took all the websites, all the information, put it in one spot. All I have to do is kind of use the software to kind of Google and find what I need within the software. So if I could say anything, getting access to that software is going to change the world, change this process for you.
Thank you for that plug there, Kenneth. And we didn't pay Kenneth to say that there. So, Vicky, any other thoughts from you before we wrap up?
Yes, if you are considering going into government contracting, I think you should look into GCA. I have gone to a lot of workshops and watched some YouTubes, but there's nothing like hands-on experience.
Yeah. And so people ask me, what's the difference between the PTAC, the accelerator, the Apex Accelerator, the SBA? Here is the biggest difference. A lot of those places, not all of them, but most of them, they give you great information. Information is very different from application. And the reason why I gave you guys a lot of freebies, those of you who joined us live, I gave you a lot of freebies. I say, hey, here's a template. Here's a website. Here's a resource. Because that's the application of it. And I gave you an example of a capability video of someone that I guided her through the process. So you see a real working document, real working video, versus just like you may go to the SBA. They say, hey, you need to create a capability statement. And that's what you get. Now, they might give you a Word document capability statement, but it's not going to look nice and clean like the one I gave you, right? And so where we differ is we focus on application of the information. And there's a lot of places to get information, but not a lot of places to get hands-on support. So that's really what GovGenie, what GCA is all about, is giving you the practical solutions to winning government contracts. Well, with that, everybody, thanks for joining us live, and we appreciate all of you joining us. Stay tuned for another episode next Wednesday, every Wednesday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Join us from Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or as a registered guest from our website. Feel free to join us. And Kenneth and Vicky, it was fun having you, both of you, and thanks for being a great sport, talking about your business so that other people can learn from your experiences as well. With that, signing off, and we will see everybody in another episode. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. And remember, you're one contract away from your dreams, from the mansion, the house, the car, the whatever, a wife, if you're waiting so that you can afford a ring. Everything is one contract away. So I will see you then. Take care.